Well, the great wodge of pink and blue jerseys, having had Piccoli out there for an awful long time, are starting to accelerate, get near the front of things, perhaps trying to launch Chiandri into orbit, because Max has had the advantage of sitting in the main pack as his teammate was down the road. Other teams had to do the chasing, and so now they're starting to warm things up here, so it could have worked in his favour too as well, apart from the fact that Piccoli is now in the pound seat for the Piaggio little motor scooter. So that's the pink and blue beginning to wind it up on the front of the field right now, but they don't have any out-and-out vicious sprinter, I don't think. That they're Tonkov from Lamprey-Dyke, and they've got him in the slipstream. Well, he's been a past winner of the Tour of Italy. A little bit over the hill now, one would say, at 33 years of age, but who knows? There's 37-year-old Hepner, who's going up in the pink jersey right now. So anything can happen, and the skill and experience of riders like Tonkov working in their favour when it comes to difficult parts of course, bad terrain, bad conditions, when things up in the mountains begin to change. So the work being put in by the Lamprey-Dyke team now. A pretty useful rider. Another man who's inclined to go away a bit. Cordell rides for them too as well. So we'll have to see how they perform coming in towards the back end of the stage today. But I don't think unless the bunch eases and Max can be fired off like you know, with an elastic band, he's going to be up there at the end of it all. But still, they're taking their turn now on the front. And this is danger zone, by the way. Look at it, as it's now gutter-to-gutter stuff. This is the moment when a bit of indiscretion on a rider, a turn to right or left without thinking about it, and down can come the pack. It's happened before. Keep your fingers crossed. Well,
I just happen to be noticing my chief pet peeve is being satisfied today. They're all wearing helmets at this point. They've obviously gone back to their team cars and said, okay, obviously it's going to be a huge sprint finish, and let's have the crash hats. And you know, with the Lamprey team working so hard on the front, it's giving the usual zebra terrain a bit of a break, and it's allowing everyone to stay as fresh as possible. And I think we're going to see a pretty exciting finish today.
And well, we'll get close to the last 10Ks then, and we'll have a bit of a bet then, because we knew there was no sort of where they're going to be caught, not where they're going to get caught, that three-man breakaway. They did get caught, and they've just joined our coverage of the race, and the position was after 16 kilometres that God, the butcher's boy on his way through us.
He happens to be wearing a pink jersey, though, I might add.
Well, some of them, you can buy these things from the publicity cavalcade people, and also at the finishes, always in these big races, there's a caravan there that sells all different coloured jerseys. But that looked like a pink T-shirt, and I don't know if he's taking part, but I don't know which stage. I have to try and find out. They have one of these stages when everybody turns out to ride the particular stage about 2 days ahead of the race. Pedalata Rosa, I think they call it. And everybody gets, unlike the Tour de France that have an tap the tour when people can ride the course, and they have a limit about 7,000 people in the Tour de France, and it's always taken up anyway in advance. I'm not quite sure how many the Pedalata Rosa have, but everybody who starts does have a pink T-shirt, and there's great wodge of people on bicycles dressed in pink. It's absolutely amazing to see. So it looks like he might have been a competitor from last year or a joker, but they certainly have loads of people in pink T-shirts trundling ahead of the race, and for many it's a very serious competition to go and ride the thing, and they get a finishing position. Some just take it in the spirit of fun and what have you. Anyway, 12 kilometres to go. A quick rundown then on the general classification before we get into the sprinters. But on this stage here, we're seeing on your screen stage 9 of the Tour of Italy. Yesterday's victor was Gonzalez from Como. He took off just the last couple of kilometres to win the stage then for the Como team, which is much decimated by the crashes which happened that day when some of their rivals some of their lads buried themselves and crashed out of the race. So right now then, coming in towards the stage today, Hepner's in the pink jersey leading overall, and the rest of the riders packed in behind him with Garzelli, technically the man we should be looking at, and the gaps down there to the main contenders who won't contest the sprint. So alas, it'll build up for them. Okay, I'll give you the split again, from assuming Garzelli is in the winning jersey, which he's the green one they just showed on screen there. Casagrande's at 25 seconds, Savadelli's 54 seconds, Simoni 56 seconds, Belli 106, Hamilton 1 minute 13, Evans 1 minute 14, Frigo 1 minute 29, and Gotti, two-time winner of the Tour, 5 minutes 14, with Pantani at over or just around 10 minutes. But we're now looking then at, that's the general classification overall, but who's going to get the stage victory coming up with these final 10 kilometres. We see the CSC Tiscali team starting to move forward. That's Hamilton on his screen now. They're trying to keep out of trouble rather than launch themselves into the final sprint. Looking back at the sprints we've had so far, it was Matteo Cipollini that won the stage into Munster, just ahead of Graham Brown, who's now retired from the race, and Robin McEwen was in third spot. Robin McEwen still in the race right now, so that was a very close call between the two Australians, but Cipollini beat him to the line on that occasion. The second stage was over and done with by stage 3. Went up a mountain into the finish at Liège, went back down into the flatter run-in on the stage 3. We went in towards Luxembourg, and then on that particular occasion Cipollini got through ahead of Stratzer, who's in the race on this occasion, but Cipollini will be wearing his zebra suit because Stratzer was in second spot on stage 3, has taken over the magenta jersey as leader on the points competition. Hundo was in third spot. Well, he's gone back home, the Telecom rider. His mother unfortunately has died, and so he went back and he's out of the race then. So that was the second rider. Stratzer now in the magenta jersey could challenge Cipollini on this particular occasion. It was though, as we went into Strasbourg, when McEwen got his own back. He pipped Cipollini to post. Cipollini second on that stage, and Degano, riding for the Paneria team, who's still in the race in the orange jersey, was into third spot there, with Brown back in fourth. Pataki, another man to watch out for in the white and the blue for the Fassa Bertola team, was back there into fourth spot and could feature yet again today. When we got into the stage finish for Resi, Lombardi got that one, but that was a breakaway group, and so in reality Lombardi's now got to start riding for Cipollini, and I don't think we'll see him in the sprint anyway. So the major sprints have been a bit of a mishmash of results. Mainly the Lion King himself has been triumphant, or nearly triumphant, Cipollini, so watch out for him again. But I think that we've got to keep our eyes open too on the Australian champion McEwen, as we now have 8 kilometres to go and the field beginning to accelerate with the sprinters getting in position. You can see the yellowish coloured pants, yellow and green pants. Those are for the riders in the Phonak team, looking after the interests of Stratzer, who's wearing the magenta jersey as leader on the overall points competition. Pretty quick sprinter too. McEwen riding with the Lotto Adoco team. He's got one of his riders, or if not two of them, up in front in the red, and he's in the white jersey with the national colours of Australia, the green and yellow bands going round about him. So good position. And here now, because it's a very wide run in towards the finish, we've got the riders from the Aqua Sapone team setting it up for Cipollini, and so many riders still together because we've got virtually the whole of the pack coming on in. Now then, we're getting into those towards the final 5 kilometres or so on the stage. We haven't seen the sprinters and for a few days now. Then, oops, there we are, typical trouble. In fact, it's one of these, might be Degano, one of his teammates has gone down. I'll try and hear that on my headphones. Who's gone down? But now it looks like his front forks are broken. Yeah. And so disappointment then as it's a Degano has gone down, and it wasn't his front fork, his wheel just come out. Watch it again then. Degano, the man I tipped as being maybe up there in the top end, just got it totally wrong. I think he touched the wheel of the Phonak rider in front, just went over too far and down he went, and that was it. So
it's interesting, his reaction to that fall. He stayed put. He didn't move. He didn't get up or do anything.
There's his team manager now, just going to have a look at the fares. He's going to be a very sad man, the Paneria team manager, because he's only got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 riders left in the group at the moment. So disappointment then as far as he's concerned. And trundling on then Degano. He'll lose some time here, but he's not bothered about time loss. He's just concerned now he could have been in for the sprint at the end of it all. But that's the life of the sprinters, as it was said some years ago. If you can't stand the heat, the kitchen, then don't get into it.
Well, also at this point in the race, things get nervous and people make silly mistakes, or mistakes that they wouldn't normally make. Everyone is clearly prepared for a sprint finish. Everyone's trying to get in position, and you're going around corners quite quickly. It's easy to touch a wheel and it's easy to come unstuck. It's something that happens very, very often.
Well, with 6 kilometres to go toward the finish now, I'm going to plump for a young McEwen. I may have picked yours. In fact, ladies first. You can choose first.
I can't believe
McEwen,
you took my boy.
I'll take your boy.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right, you've got McEwen.
No, actually, I'll take Chippo. I'll take Chippo. You can have McEwen.
No, they'll say you're biased because you're a lady, you see, and therefore...
Okay, I'll take McEwen.
You take McEwen. No, I won't take Chippo.
No?
No, I'll take Stratzer.
Oh yes, Stratza. Okay, well that's guy could maybe win this one. Oh my gosh, it would be the first.
I think it's 2-0 to me at the moment, isn't it? Right,
Yeah,
there's your
you're
man.
a betting man because you keep winning.
There's Chipper. That's a chap to watch out for, and I'm sure that a lot of ladies out there will urging him on to win. He's got a tremendous fight. What a character too, as Chris was saying earlier on. These sprinters, they're a special breed, by the way, and certainly he's got a lot of support out there. He's been outspoken at times, but my goodness, when it comes to pedaling bicycles in the final few kilometres, he knows what it's all about, and has amassed a vast number of special sprint finishes and a small fortune and a Puma cat as well, and a small apartment, a modest one in Monte Carlo. God knows how many motor cars, but what a character.
He also has a cockatoo. I don't know if you knew that, but that's...
I didn't see it on his shoulders today, though.
Yeah, no, not...
Oh, that's a parrot, isn't it?
That's right. It's interesting, the man who designs Cipollini's clothes and the team clothes, he also designs clothes for Britney Spears, and he designs furniture as well. And it's an absolutely brilliant program, because as a photographer standing on the finish line, when you see a line of sprinters, it doesn't matter which wheel Cipollini is, if he's first, second, third, or 10th. All you see is this big man coming at you in this bright outfit, and whether you like it or not, you naturally focus on him. It's brilliant.
And there we are, the old zebra stripes, which he's certainly had different colours so far through, because when he had the points jersey, he managed to get the stripes across the points code. When he started out in Holland, he decided to paint it orange. He looked a bit like the men off the Kellogg's cornflakes. So there we go yet again, as this is Striel going down the road. Well, he had his lone long breakaway the other day, and now he's decided to have a little bit of go for an individual break. Now, this is the tactics when they get them, there might be a slight easing with 4 kilometres to go. There might be a slight easing from Striel, and I suspect if we still see Max Chandry in the Lamprey team near the front, it'll be his chance to go. So 1 or 2 riders will be looking for an opportunity and hope that they just the teams behind decide, well, it's your turn to chase him down. No, it's your turn to chase him down. You see, look, the Lotto Adico team are doing some work on the front with McEwen behind it, but they aren't going as quick, possibly, with 4Ks to go as Cipollini's mob might go. So perhaps Cipollini's got to take over on this one, because the Lotto Adico boys don't want to do too much. That's playing straight into the hands of Striel here. A very nice pedalling style, just getting stuck into here, and off he goes to try and win this with 4 kilometres to go. That's going to be around about 5 minutes of burying himself. But here they come, though. Lotto Adico for McEwen, and McEwen isn't on the wheels, by the way, of his teammates. You'll probably find him stuck in behind Cipollini, and he's a little diddy fellow, and he's probably getting lots of shelter. There, as you can see him. Yes, he is with Cipollini, letting his team do the work, but he's getting a bit boxed now. So look at him getting through. The way in which McEwen moves in the gaps, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, his technical skills are incredible. He's well renowned for pulling one-wheelers up big climbs, and he is just fantastic on the bike. He can slip through places which really aren't gaps. But I'm wondering if he's going to try to use Mario Cipollini as his lead-out man today.
Aye, that's it. It's very typical what he does is get in there, but let's see what happens further on down. We're going to finish, by the way, outside a magnificent building, which cameras will go up. I think we're going to finish a bit ahead of schedule outside the Reggio, as they start to wind it up now. Good straight run down in towards the finish of Strada Appio Nazionale, and we'll go past this magnificent building. Our cameras will go up and give you a wonderful sight of that, but we'll concentrate now on the fact that they're the team from Acquae Sapone, which is Cipollini's team on the front, doing all the work at the moment. Still out there, 1 or 2 infiltrations from the Lotto Adico, who've got to do some work too, because their man is glued to the back wheel of Cipollini, like Batman and Boy Robin. In fact, 1 or 2 of the other riders are trying to just elbow him off, but he doesn't get elbowed off that easy, does he? Oh, he's a little diddy guy. He seems to be able to hold his corner, eh? Oh,
for sure. He's a tough one, and he, like I said, he has such incredible skills. It's interesting. I don't see Max Chandry featuring here at all.
I think the speed's probably too hot now.
Yeah, possibly. But you do see all the correct teams up the front. Everyone.
Bit of a, get off my wheel. I'll give you a sharp elbow in your ribs if you're not careful. Also in there, we can just see the white and the blue shorts of the Fassa Bertolo team, and that's Tassato number 57. But the main sprinter, the fastest one, is Petacchi number 55 from Fassa Bertolo. They're trying to infiltrate things just a little bit at the moment.
I wonder.
Oh, look at the swerving and pushing and shoving it. Now, you see the yellow jersey in there is one of the lads from the Selle Italia Columbia team, and you wouldn't see them there normally. I think they're saying, right, you aren't due enough. We get the hell out. Look again, Tiscali tried to come through, and the lads from that place say, get out of our way. This is not your part of the course. There's a pecking order amongst this lot, isn't there? In the final kilometre now, and so its situation is set then for a bit of a ripper too here, and then Guidi starting to come through too as well, and he's just in the blue jersey behind the lead-out man in the yellow for the Coast team, and wedged into there still is Cipollini, and it looks like McEwen's lost a bit of ground in the sprint, so still one of McEwen's men's doing the work on the front, but it'll be Lombardi then who'll start to go on the left-hand side. It looks one of the lads from the coal pack going down on the left-hand side, and he's starting to wind it up, catching a few people now, but they're trying to infiltrate. His man behind is trying to infiltrate and stop Cipollini, but he hasn't got a catch in Hill. They're running out of steam. Still the power being put down by Acqua Sapone, running in toward the finish here. The lead-out man again starts to go off as Lombardi hits the front, but Cipollini's been right behind him. Here's McEwen, and then McEwen is still there. Stratzer comes up too as well, but at the moment Cipollini looks like he's unbeatable going towards the line. Cipollini's going to be it, and is McEwen going to get by him? These two are nose to tail, but no, Cipollini yet again gets his third victory in this year's Tour of Italy, taking himself to 37 victories in the Giro d'Italia, and he's on his way towards the 41 victories that Binder has on his scorecard as the most prolific victor in the Tour of Italy. But Cipollini coming through there, getting the victory just ahead of McEwen, and that was a superb, well-judged ride yet again for this man here. And look at him saying thanks to all his teammates who really, they elbowed their way through, kept people out of the way. What an amazing team he has welded round about him too as well. These lads will just bury themselves for Cipollini, and that's the way to do it. We'll probably get a slow motion for this one in a minute, Christie, but that's sprinting at its best, isn't it?
Oh, that was absolutely perfect. It was perfectly done. His team worked perfectly to keep McEwen back as well, so he couldn't get around. He got squeezed out just a little bit at the end, so he didn't get a good go at the run in. But that puts Chippo back in the sprinter's jersey, doesn't it?
It does. It'll put him back there in pink, so Stratzer will have to be back into blue ahead of Guidi in the Intergiro competition, as our camera now has just been picking up this wonderful Reggio. There's over 1,200 rooms in it, by the way, so there's plenty of space then for the people to move around. I suppose you get a bit lost in there, but this man didn't get lost. There he was, just ahead of Morini. Guidi back there. Quanto at long last beginning to get a bit of fire in his legs, and Stratzer, my man, was nowhere to be seen, so perhaps he decided that's it, I'll go after the Intergiro instead. And these beautiful gardens being picked up here on your screen. We'll get some shots of these, by the way. The famous Diana fountain, the sculpture of the goddesses, will probably pick up on that too as well. So there's Morini going off the left-hand side. McEwen did the right thing, moving his way through behind Cipollini, ignoring our other challengers. As you can see how skillful these riders are, as the lead-out men start to come drifting backwards and slowing down. They have to work their way around them, but again McEwen managed to stop in there without being bumped and bored by the rest round about. The situation being set up here. In fact, I've just seen Stratzer and Guidi having a bit of problems further back, and Guidi particularly had to sort of ease back a little bit. Couldn't just force his way through, perhaps a little bit tired after yesterday's long ride that he did. And we watch now the speed from this man, the Cipollini, having to go a bit longer than he normally does, but no doubt about it, he was clearly away this time, as Guidi in the blue had worked his way round as well, having to find another spot to go, but kicked back when he got a bit blocked, but he had enough the legs to go past McEwen. So it was first then Guidi, McEwen, Morini, and back from there too.
Well, McEwen was certainly working hard to stay on Chippo's wheel as long as he could, but the big man just goes that much quicker, especially when he's in front. He knows McEwen's there, so he didn't leave it to chance at all. He took off. It was interesting also, DiBiase was in the final 10, and he's had a pretty good start to the season as well. And he's pretty much running on his own here. Not many of the Formaggio teammates were near him.
Yeah, now then, we watched him go through, and we may get a top shot again as he sort of went in amongst the photographers. I'm rather inclined to think that the Tour of Italy doesn't have quite such a strong hold upon where the photographers have to stand as they do in the Tour of France or one or two other races. They seem to be allowed to sort of infiltrate towards the finish line, and then it's a bit crazy with, I remember that year too when Cipollini ran into the back of one of the cars up in front in the Milan San Remo because they couldn't get through all the photographers which had sort of come across the road. There are rules and regulations, aren't there?
Oh, there absolutely are, and the Tour de France Society has just recently implemented another more strict regulation about how many photographers can be at the first line of passing, and that's down to 16 now, and that's on both sides of the road, 16 total. There are no stairs. There's not the usual 45 vests that are being given out, and that is strictly for the rider's safety.
Yeah, because when they come through at 40 miles an hour, if you run into a photographer, then there could be some nasty crashes over the years. And it's not only the bodies there. It's some people inclined, as we look again at the rundown here on the sort of 9, 10, 11 further back down there. And Stratson, my man, finished 13, unlucky for some. So I've lost out here. That's my turn to buy the cappuccinos as Cipollini comes forward here for the photographer to take their picture of him having yet another victory in the Tour, closing that gap down. I don't think he can quite get to, he could get another victory tomorrow. That will close him down on Binder's numbers, and I just don't think he can quite get up with Binder. Binder's 41 victories, by the way, in the Tour. He's had Cipollini now, that makes it what, his 37th victory, so he's still got some way to go to Binder, who Binder won something like about 12 out of 13 stages one year in the Tour. He was a great all-rounder with Binder, but there the crowd then elated by Cipollini, who has now allowed a little bit of the fizzy pop to go out of the bottle. Normally seems to just a bit. God, they're all coming up now. That's it. The security is not exactly what I want. Here they come. Come on, lads. The cavalry just to rescue at the exact minute. So they're back again to look at this marvellous building, the Regia, and it was built here some time ago, the Royal Palace, by the Bourbon King of Naples, Charles III, and that's a marvellous building back there and a marvellous finish too. But no change in the overall, with Hepner still in the pink jersey. We'll see him up on the rostrum shortly. Garzelli, Popovic, no great change overall, and maybe not again tomorrow. But it's an easy day, I think, for the Telecom team. They looked okay.
Yeah, they look relaxed.